How's it going, guys? Got a live Warno 1v1 for you today between Griffin, the current rank 1. I think he just got rank 1 today, versus Ben Dover, who's like rank 2 or rank 3. So, very, very high level game. And basically, this was played as part of Fat Kid and Pen's Fob Sit Rep. I think it's just those two. I think I'm in the way. But basically, the host, somebody wins a coin toss, right? So Griffin won the coin toss, and that means that he gets to pick two pairings. And so he can pick any map, he can pick any division and any map that's in rotation, which is like most of the maps. And then Ben has to pick what div to play. So you see it's 11th ACR versus 2nd UK on airport. That's really funny, actually. I know why he's done that. Or 2nd Spain versus 2Y on Ica. So basically, last time we played 11th ACR versus 2nd UK on airport, and I won in 10 minutes. He wasn't very happy about that. Anyway, it was a long time ago, though. It's before the RT rework. So basically, he's got the host has a big advantage, but you can't just have like a hilariously one-sided matchup, like Second Panzer versus 303 Czech or something, because the guest gets to pick the div, so they would obviously pick the better div, right? So you actually have to you have to use your head a bit and think about something where so he wanted Ben to pick 2Y because he's got a new tech on. Basically, Zappadors are completely broken now because all the SMGs got buffed, and these guys get like 3 cards of Zappadors minimum because they get regular Zappadors, Zappadors BMR, and Zappadors M65. So Bueno being played, that's good. But basically, he baited Ben into picking 2Y. So I reckon Griffin will win this. I reckon Griffin will win this. So, yeah, I mean it is live, but they started playing a few minutes before I press spectate, so I guess I can speed this up. But it is live. Generous channel joiners generously join on the channel. They get their names on the screen. They get the videos early. They get members exclusive videos. One join at the lowest levels with 2,000 views. So if you're feeling bad about your ad block, it's a great way to support the channel. It's good to know for every negative comment I receive, there's like 650 generous channel joiners, so I do appreciate the knowledge that you guys appreciate these videos. I understand, not everybody thinks it's worth it and everybody can afford it, etc. I get messages like, I have to cancel it because I lost my job. Like, please do take care of yourself first. Disposable income only, please. I'm not gonna, get the begging bowl out. Anyway, so I'm expecting Griffin to win because he obviously had a plan here. And the plan is to spam the Zappadors because they're absolutely busted. Basically, these SMGs used to be very bad. And what happened was the SMGs became good, which is good. But the prices didn't change and the availabilities didn't change. So this div gets 3 squads that have really, really good... this is just incredibly cost efficient. This beats like most other squads. In a forest fight, this will just win, unless the other squad has like a flamethrower. There's a few other things that have benefited from this. So Pioneer Flam is probably the biggest winner because the SMGs got better and the Hand Flam Patron got better. So Pioneer's Flam, that 2nd Panzer and everything gets. That's absolutely insane now. It's so 2nd Panzer and 5th Panzer, which were already top divisions, are now ultra mega giga top divisions. There's also other things that you can do, like TKS gets 2 cards of that. That's rough. You don't want that happening. The thing is, it doesn't have smoke, but what he could have done is turned into it, and it wouldn't have killed him because it won't one-shot 9 armor. The Bitubo has 20% accuracy. And so I wanted to show you this to give you that. Obviously, we don't know who's going to win yet. So that's good, right? But also to show you how these high-level games go down, it's very, very different. Like, there's a lot more mobility right? People are trying to find any angle they can, and you'll notice that like there isn't just a big gap here. There isn't just a big gap here. The fighting's happening basically everywhere, and it's about getting the maximum utility out of your individual units. So you see the BTR-80 plus the BTR-80 beat the Bitubo plus the BMR. This BMR, did you notice he had that behind the building so that he could kill it as it came round? He pops in, shoots it, sees all this, goes back. So, yeah, Ben basically, that's really unlucky. That's 50% accuracy. I suppose it's 50%, so it's just a coin toss. But yeah, that's a 1 per card Hilo, and that's like a 2 per card Jet, so Hilo still have that problem. These have smoke, so we could do this. Thing is, right, Ben doesn't play Pact. He literally plays America and Ersterland Commando, so he's at a huge disadvantage here, and this tournament's really interesting for that reason. Although a lot of it is just RNG, so because Griffin got host, he can just pick 2 combinations where, you know, as long as you got a brain and you don't let anything slip through, it's always going to be advantaged towards you, right? So you know, oh, I'm up against the guy who doesn't play anything other than America. Well, here's, here's one, right? Although, actually, to be honest, the other one was 11th ACR on airport, so I'm really surprised Ben didn't go for that. Yeah, I'm really surprised by that. Anyway, so yeah, I think so far, I mean, we can speed it up a little bit until it gets to, you know, because it is live, but it's live with a buffer. I hope that makes sense. So the longer this goes on, the better you'd expect. Oh, that doesn't have smoke, so that one doesn't have smoke. You can also press spacebar to go to last actions on the side. The issue is selling something counts as a last action. So if I press spacebar as the player, once this is sold, it just goes to the last thing that was sold, that is a bit dumb, really. So the longer this goes on, the better 2Y gets. And if you're gonna play as Zappador spam, the idea behind this div is to spam smoke everywhere, because you've got a very nice AT. This one, 18 AP rapid fire, it's like a super AT4 basically. It's at high accuracy as well, super high suppression. It used to be terrible, but it is one of the most modern anti-tank in the game, anti-tank launchers in the game. And so yeah, it makes sense for it to be like that, but the idea is you've got crazy SMG strat thing, and you've also got incredibly good AT, and frankly, Fusilero's 11 men for 55 points is like one of the most cost-effective units in the game. It's actually pretty ridiculous. It's like, oh, it's not got a machine gun. It's like, yeah, so... so yeah, he's got that going on. 2Y is a much slower div, because of the T-72s being so expensive, right? You can basically buy 2 of these for 1 of these. So it's, you see he's sort of getting pushed. You'll notice this is at the front with its 2 armor. The Zappadors come in this transport, which, the Zappadors... One of the Zappadors comes in that transport. It's not got smoke. There's another one. The BMR with a dozer, and that's got 2 armor and it's wheeled and it's got smoke and a 50 cal. It costs more, but it's a very nice transport. So you see, he's not got a tank here, and I guess the idea is he should really swing these over, but he doesn't see what we see. That's interesting. It's just HE. So the HE does do something now, but he's gone for the 81mm ones so that he can move them, as opposed to the 120mm ones, which come on the same div that you can also move, but I guess he just wants it to be very fast with its movement. Faster. So you see the Rocket 2s back here. Spain's... This div really struggles, as does Bueno, against helicopters, because Spain doesn't get its minstrels in this game. In real life, Spain got the minstrels. So there you go, you just chuck 2 jets at it whenever you see Hilo. It's really dumb, but it is what it is. Like, he had a fighter up, but he actually lost his fighter. 2Y's disadvantage is that they don't have cubs. So a cub would, 2 cubs there probably would have killed both of those, and the fighter probably would have survived, because they can shoot from further away, and even if they miss, they stress you out, so you start missing on your fighters if the cub has missed you. Yeah, so... Ben's trying to attack here. It's just the Zappador's M65, which honestly this unit is crazy because it's got an AT. So it's like if you compare this to Giggin, it's like super Giggin. It's really daft. You have to appreciate, you know, these are the top players in the game are basically just gonna do whatever the strongest thing is, right? Because they want to win. So the people who have got into that position, unless they're very rarely has there been somebody who's got rank 1 just playing something dumb. It has happened. It has happened. But usually they're playing something really good. So I got rank 1 a couple times and I wasn't playing better divs. But the big one's probably Skate. He got to like rank 1 with, it was like 17Y or something. But yeah, we've had a few third armoured rank 1s. People are like, it's a bad div, but it's not. So, I mean, if it happened once, sure, but it literally happened twice. 2 separate people got rank 1, played only third armoured. Might be a good div, guys. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, it's looking really bad for red. It's just not looking good at all. So, yeah, I mean, this is obviously gonna kill that that Conquers, and he doesn't have any tanks here. He lost his tank here, which is super expensive. Sorry about that, I was rudely interrupted. So, where was I? The mortars are coming in to stop this T-72 to repair, which is a pretty good idea. HE mortars actually do something now. That's like one of the best changes ever. And then we've got 300mm rocket RT. So this got buffed recently to do 10% more damage. So this game was played a few days ago. Not that long ago. It's just there was a quick hotfix thing. So this will now do 3.1 HE. Because as you can see... okay, I mean it did hit it. But and it is firing from basically the back of the map. But yeah, I still don't think... so like the Grad and the RM70, they're good. And the other ones, I don't really rate. So yeah, strangely enough, Bueno gets the D30s, which are now 3 per card, and so are the Bueno ones. But the Bueno version of the D30s, so it's not exactly a D30, it's another Soviet piece, an older Soviet piece. It goes further, it goes 25 kilometers, whereas the D30 goes 15. So I'm not sure really what's going on there. I mean, obviously so like the biggest artillery pieces are all like World War I artillery pieces, right? So it's not necessarily the case that, oh, it's newer, so it bigger boom. But generally speaking, because yeah, the deal with World War I's, because it was a static front line, they could afford to make these things that would fire like once or twice a day, right? Because it's like, well, nobody's going anywhere, so you know, here's the biggest boom possible. I'm sure some historian will say something really useful like, oh, actually, the largest caliber was... But you get the point. It's the same with, like, small arms rifles as well. So, like, if you look up the caliber of, like, the Martini Henry rifle and stuff like that, like, the bullets actually used to be way bigger. And then they figured out that, well, wait a minute, you know, you don't actually need that big a bullet to kill a person. So you see the Zappadors versus the Saperi, and, like, the Zappadors are cheaper, 10 points cheaper, they're more available, and they were going to win that fight. He shouldn't have backed, because the whole point is the best part of the Saperi RPO is the 4 RPO rounds, and now that those are fired, it's fine. He's out of SMG range, so he should have kept fighting. In fact, he should have actually gone a building closer and dropped the satchel on him. So that was a mistake there from Griffin. Which is a shame, really, because I just said he was going to win, so he's got to win. So, yeah, this used to be the meta RT piece. Like I said, this game was only played like a week ago or something. I think. So we've got some counter battery from the D30s. So it wasn't meta a week ago, but before the RT rework, these were, you just bring 2 203s and just whack them and then move. But now that you have the setup and pack up time, this is Not as useful because you can be counter-batteried. Overall, I really enjoyed the RT rework. It's not perfect, but the fact that you can actually use mortars now and stuff is really useful. But yeah, it looks like Ben's managing to hold here, mainly because like Blue doesn't really have any tanks. He bought. So it's something I often criticize players for doing. Having fallen for it myself many times, he really wanted to kill that. The thing is, right, these are 2 per card, and that's 1 per card, from what I remember, the V. So it can be worth it to do that. But now, if Red were to buy a bomber now, because he knows all of Blue's jets are down, unless he has more than 3 fighters. Anyway, if you buy loads of RT at once, right, because this is 1 minute's income, and this is another minute's income, right? Well, so like, say like 3 minutes later after you bought the RT, so now, basically, the enemy's going to have a bunch more stuff on the front line than you. Unless he also bought RT, but you know, because, well, he'll have 2 more tanks. And, well, okay, so here's the tank, here's the other tank, right? And, you know, hypothetically speaking, if Griffin didn't buy this RT, he would have 4 tanks, because his tanks are half the price. So the M48 it's 120, right? So he would have 4 tanks, and so I think he'd be better off in this situation with 4 tanks than the RT, which takes time to pay for itself. And it's really easy to get into the habit of just, like, I've done this so many times. I'm winning a game, I buy 2 planes, and then I lose 5 minutes later. And it's because I bought the planes instead of buying tanks, and then the enemy just pushes me on the ground. So it's something you really got to be aware of if you just buy a bunch. And it's the same with RT, it's a similar principle. The RT takes a while to do anything, right? And in the meantime, well, the tank takes a couple of minutes to show up and then immediately begins smacking everybody in a way that the RT can't. So it's important to not just buy a bunch of RT at once, because like this is actually looking a lot better for Red now than it was before he bought the RT. So it's worth thinking about. I mean, Red has bought some RT as well, so that does kind of mitigate it, right? If both sides buy RT, then neither's bought frontline. But before the break, before the intermission, it looked like Blue was about to win, because he, you know, there was like 1 tank here. I can't remember if, I guess these were probably on their way, and he just seemed to have way more stuff on the front line. His units are cheaper, but Red's managed to hold, and it really does come down to those artillery purchases, in my opinion, because like what this killed a Conkers, and that's, you know, it's a good kill, but you have to kill like 4 of those to pay for yourself. So it's and in the meantime, like, so okay, so he's done this. Like, imagine if this was here 5 minutes ago. Yeah, 5 minutes ago, instead of the RT purchases. Well, he wouldn't be about to lose this zone, right? Because he'd have 4 tanks and they would engage this, and, you know. Because now it's looking a lot better for Ben. I mean, the T-72s have not amazing accuracy, and you do notice it, because, you know, people are like, oh, it's only 5% less or whatever. You do notice it when you use them, although this is 60 as well, but this costs a lot more. You do notice it when you use them. When you're against them, you don't notice it. So, you see, these are the Saperi from before that he could have killed. So these things do come back to bite you. Aito there, was that a side shot, perhaps? I believe it was. The side shot angle is very narrow in this game. It used to be a lot wider, but... these suck. The Artillerado helicopter is terrible. The availability has gone up, and the price went down as well. More recently the price went down, and those are good changes, because it is really bad. It's just something to do with the miniguns, they don't do much work. So, this guy's still reloading. He should have a CV next to them, but obviously that would be yet another investment back here that's not on the front line. So he's recognised his mistake, and now he's buying all the tanks, right? Or at least, well, You know, he's already bought the arty. And yeah, the increased effectiveness of his infantry is good compared to Red's infantry, but the increased effectiveness of Red's tanks are really starting to show themselves. So it's just they cost more, so it takes longer for that to kick in. And that's generally what happens when you play against 2Y, that if it starts going late and you haven't made big gains, it tends to start having problems. So he's using this to scout. He doesn't know about the Jeanettes. He does now. The Jeanette, for whatever reason, isn't shooting him. We got a big air wave here. So he sent the fighters first so that he could use... They scout with their face, basically. But once again, that's... and, you know, he managed to... He did it at the same time that the tanks came through. So this is a big deal. And it's something that you really should work on. And it's something that I'm working on because it's very hard to do. You should attack with everything at once, right? So the air didn't come in and then he sent the tanks in. He sent the tanks in, and while the tanks were fighting, the air came in and you know, because it's harder for Red to react to that. And it means that, so he got a tank there. And he got something else. I don't think it was an Osa. But the point was that the fighters went first to soak up the shots, and then you're supposed to use the bombers to kill the Osas, but I think he went on the tanks and he didn't get them because they've got 3 top armor. That got routed. So it was cool, but yeah, it's like, it just comes down to this idea that, oh, I'm gonna buy a bunch of arty and a bunch of planes. And then on Ben's side, like, these are a lot cheaper. He does have some arty, but he's like, I'm just gonna buy tanks. And I say this a lot to people, and I think this is actually starting to look like a really good example of it. If you're winning, and then you start buying a bunch of planes and a bunch of arty, and your enemy is just like, I'm just going to buy tanks and AA and run at you, well, what do you think's going to happen, right? The planes take time to pay off, the arty takes time to pay off, so Blue went from being in a much better position than Red, to actually now having less on the ground. So that was a mistake. Another thing he could have done, because he's got the Zappador advantage, I assumed he would be smoking more with these. I mean, right now he doesn't really have any units because he bought all those arty and all those planes. But if he had, when he did have the advantage, like, that's why he bought them originally, I thought, but you just shoot a bunch of smoke at them and then you run at them with this thing, which is like a super AT4 on an 11-man squad, and the Zappadors, and with the SMGs we've been speaking about, they're very strong. So, yeah, this guy doesn't have AT. This has smoke. All he has to do is come down here, but then, well, I suppose, then that'd shoot him, so... That's interesting. I don't know, he just got really... Well, I mean, it is dead now, but it dodged a couple shots there. So... Yeah, the point I was interrupted on, T-72s are good at close range, because the point is that they're quite armoured for their price. They're very armoured for their price. They're like the cheapest tank with 3 top armour, and which is the anti-arty thing, but the front armour and so on is good. The issue with them is that the gun isn't good for the price. This is still decent. And so the way you use the tank, on this map, T-72s are goated because the ranges are low. So it's about the T-72s, the T-55s. On a longer range map, like Vertigo or something. You see, this is a very nice RPG. It doesn't miss a lot. And, oh, okay, he just didn't have the LOS. Well, and then he moved, and so he didn't, Yeah. But, no, I hope you're learning something. He was winning, he bought a bunch of arty and a bunch of planes, and his opponent, just gonna buy ground stuff, and just ran at him. And look at what's happening now. He's losing everywhere. He's losing everywhere. It's not helped by the fact that 2Y is better the longer the game goes on, compared to Bueno, because he has more expensive tanks, right? So, at the start of the game... they fired all their rounds. I guess, good micro from Ben. He's got just a bunch of guys stuck on 1 and 2 HP. He's keeping them alive. That's another thing as well. If you play against the top player, both these guys are top players, they send their units back. So he's doing that to scout so he can send in the bomber, right? And you see now he's going for where the Osa was. But Ben's either moved the Osa or he got the position a bit wrong. So, yeah, the best way to throw a game that. Buy loads of planes, buy loads of RT, just doesn't work. I mean, it can work, it's just a suboptimal strategy. So, I guess Red's winning now. Yeah, I mean, so it was a live game, but I was going to say this is clearly over. So there you go. I mean, Bueno is actually decent division now because of the Zapdos. But yeah, if you... so we got rank 3 here versus rank 1. He has a Smurf as well, so he does have more games than this. Don't know if Ben has a Smurf, but you know, he also has a lot of games. If you're winning, and then you... that's pretty funny, that. Just buy AA, bro. Well, he did, and he beat you, so that's interesting, isn't it? If you're winning, don't buy a bunch of planes and then a bunch of party, because it's going to make you lose. But I know that from personal experience, losing a lot of games like that. Anyways, have a good day. GG.